In June 1946, Sir Alexander Bustamante and the Honorable Frank Pixley were acquitted of manslaughter charges in the death of John Nicholas, a PNP supporter. The incident that prompted the charges took place at Bellevue Hospital during a strike of unionized hospital nurses and ancillary staff. These workers were members of the PNP-led Trade Union Congress, also known as TUC. Their strike caused some psychiatric patients to be left on their own, inside and outside the hospital. Bustamante said that when he first visited the mental hospital that Saturday, he saw a small group of TUC protesters at the entrance. He also mentioned that while on the compound, he was hit in the back of his head with a stone that he believed was thrown by one of the unmonitored psychiatric patients. Bustamante left the hospital, went to the waterfront downtown, and convinced thousands of BITU dock workers to return with him to the mental hospital to supposedly control the wandering psychiatric patients. But some of these BITU workers were armed with sticks, iron pipes, and pickets. On Bustamante's return to the hospital later that day, he was not only followed by a crowd of supporters, but also by Frank Pixley, a fellow JLP member of the House and government minister. When the TUC strikers at the front of the hospital saw Bustamante and the angry mob with dangerous weapons approaching the compound, they knew they were outnumbered, so they ran for their lives. However, one well-known PNP supporter, John Nicholas, was spotted on the premises by Clifford Reed, a BITU delegate. Mr. Reed chased and accosted Mr. Nicholas. Mr. Nicholas defended himself by firing his revolver and wounding Mr. Reed. The JLP gang chased, caught, and attacked Mr. Nicholas, beating him viciously. Both Mr. Nicholas and Mr. Reed were taken to Kingston Public Hospital, where both men died later. The deaths were considered the first tribal violence between political parties in Jamaica. In Parliament, the PNP verbally attacked Bustamante for his decision to visit the mental hospital. They pressured him to explain under what authority he had been there. Bustamante responded that he acted alone in his capacity as a member of the government to carry out his official responsibilities. Nevertheless, Bustamante and Pixley were later arrested and charged for their willingness to instigate and participate in the violent protests which led to the deaths of the two men. The trial made international news as reporters from the USA and media outlets in England came to the island to cover the hearing. There was excitement in the air and curiosity throughout Jamaica, since it was the first time that two persons of such political importance were on trial for that type of crime. In support, hundreds of JLP colleagues and BITU workers flocked to Port Maria, which became the new court location after the Kingston Circuit Court venue was changed to the St. Mary's Circuit Court. Accommodations and transportation were even provided by Bustamante for his colleagues and followers. With such overwhelming support and dedication for both accused, plus with prominent Caribbean defense attorneys, many were not surprised that both men were acquitted of the charges.